more of those incredible rare home movies of Lucy and Desi Arnaz and why they get married a second time on Realtv.
Tonight at 10 on Fox 31.
Today, video cameras are everywhere. We bring you the pictures they've captured. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's funny, but it's always real TV. Home video of a family trek climbing in the mountains, but Dad's coming in too fast. A camera puts you aboard a rocket headed for outer space. Over and over, the racer flips. Will he make it out alive? Why is this piglet wearing a life jacket? And for the first time, we're invited inside Lucy and Desi's personal archives to hear and see the real story behind their wedding day.
I said, we're going to get married tomorrow.
We're taking time out for a honeymoon then.
Whatever you do, don't blink. Real TV is on the air.
Hi, I'm John Daly with more great stories caught on tape. Today we begin in the mountains. A man and his boys are rock climbing. There's going to be an accident so vividly caught on tape that you might feel the pain yourself. Our Ellen Kay has the tape.
The only way to become a rock climber is to do it.
Dad, do you know the way back up?
I'm sure I'll find it.
Just ask Doug Sewell. Here he is rappelling down into Nevada's Red Rock Canyon for the very first time.
I can show you.
No.
A buddy holds the camera to record the momentous occasion.
Bounced, you know, and let a lot out. I'm giving you a lot of slack now.
Hey, not bad for a first-timer.
Keep your feet planted, glued them right there.
Next, his 7-year-old son, Brendan, makes it down without a hitch.
That's the way. Lean back more. Lean back more. You gotta look up at your dad. Lean back more.
Now it's Brendan's younger brother, Josh's turn. He's only 6 years old.
Now lean back more.
Even he looks like he's been rappelling down the mountain for years.
Every step, lean back more. Lean back, lean back, lean back. Good.
So far, so good. And when their climbing buddy suggests they try something a little more challenging, they jump at the chance. But it's Doug who'll soon find that his beginner's luck is about to run out. The buddy convinces the confident brood to cross this canyon.
Go, Brandon.
He rigs a 120-foot zip line from one end of the cliff to the other. The object? To slide across the canyon's mouth.
Jump, Brendan.
Strapped into a safety harness, 7-year-old Brendan gets the first honors.
There, you're there. Go.
He's a little scared, but he musters up the courage, then throws himself into the void and flies across like a pro.
Oh, way to go.
Take a deep breath, Josh, 'cause you're next.
Both hands.
You gotta go, Bert.
The gutsy 6-year-old does it. Now it's Dad's turn. You can hear the winds picking up, and it looks like a storm is brewing. So if Doug wants to get across, he'd better do it now.
Yep.
You can actually hear Doug's helmet collide into the rock.
You all right? Are you all right, Dad?
Watch the video again. The zip line is supposed to be tight, and you can see it sagging. The kids were light enough to make it across, but when Doug tried it at 205 pounds, his weight proved to be too much.
I knew I was going to hit. There was no control, and there was no brake. I ended up being the brake.
After slamming to a halt, Doug is dazed.
I just wanted to be still.
Are you all right, Dad?
When I heard my boys call my name, I didn't even look at them because I just was in so much pain.
But if it weren't for his helmet, Doug's pain would have been a lot worse.
Now, after all that, Doug suffered only injuries to his foot. Oh, yeah, one giant headache as well. Well, now Realtv blasts into outer space. Someone decides to mount a small video camera aboard a rocket. And here's what the camera caught.
20, 19,
You're looking at a NASA test rocket here at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico.
13,
The mission hopes to collect information on how solar radiation affects our atmosphere.
7, 6,
A camera on board gives us this special view of what it's like to travel into space.
0, +1. We have liftoff. +3, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10, plus 11.
Watch as the booster rockets break away.
Plus 4, 5.
This is a suborbital flight. It just goes up, collects the data, and returns to Earth.
We're losing it. Plus 480.
The rocket reaches an altitude of 200 miles. It peaks, and like a baseball thrown into the air, it begins to come down. With the data on board, the rocket spirals back to Earth. Scientists deploy a parachute so the rocket can land safely and be used again at a later date.
Okay, we're on the chute.
Quite a ride. Well, we want to thank the NASA scientists working at the University of Colorado for sending us that tape. Well, back down to Earth now, but still very far away. We take you to Russia, where a major police bust goes down. They're trying to catch dangerous arms dealers before their wares make it into the wrong hands.
It's morning in Moscow, but the sun is about to set on some crooked Russians. You're looking through a video camera set up in this Moscow park. The men on the left are allegedly trying to sell an arsenal of weapons that have been stolen from the Russian army. What they don't know is that the men on the right are undercover police. Now, if you've seen our other stories on Russian cops, you know these guys give new meaning to the word aggressive. And once again, that's the case here. Watch as one of the cops reaches into his car to supposedly pay off the bad guys. Suddenly, he comes out firing. As the uninjured crook falls to the ground, dozens of hidden police rush in to arrest other accomplices. The man on the right complies, but he still gets a quick kick. With that, it's time for the final scenes in this Moscow melodrama. The final act shows the final take included everything from grenades to plastic explosives to shoulder-launched missiles.
It's hard to believe that no one was hurt in the bust, even though there were enough weapons to blow up a small city. Well, you've heard the phrase, necessity is the mother of invention. Apparently, it's also the father of a crazy idea involving baby pigs.
A litter of piglets snuggles up to mama for food and warmth on a cold English night. The first few days of life are critical for these babies. When the temperature drops, some may not make it through the night. But a creative pig farmer has come up with an invention to help keep these critters warm. You've heard of pigs in a blanket. Well, here's pigs in a bucket.
This allows us to pop him in there and let him swim about and go to sleep and catch him home.
Thanks to this life-saving, tailor-made life jacket, the piglets can soak in a bucket of warm water without drowning. After a small squeal of reluctance, the piglets soon settle in to a nice, comfortable bath.
A jacuzzi could be next. Well, do you have an unusual idea or invention? Put it on tape and send it to us. Here's how to reach us toll-free. Our number is 1-888-REAL-TV1. We'll be right back.
Still ahead, see the racer go airborne, flipping over and over. Watch out, you're in for a bumpy ride. Later, why would this couple get married on a bridge? And speaking of weddings, did you know Lucy and Desi were actually married twice? We'll have the scoop on that. No scripts, no actors, but lots of brides and grooms. Real TV returns in a moment.
Hi, this is Lance Burton in Las Vegas, and you're watching Real TV. It's no illusion. Cheers.
And cheers to you, Lance. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Here's what's ahead. Wacky wedding videos, including the bride who carried her cat down the aisle, plus the whitewater rafters who got caught in a jam that nearly cost them their lives. Those stories coming up. But right now, the story of one race car driver who was knocked senseless in a spill caught on tape that will leave you gasping. Our Sabila Vargas takes you through the tape.
You're at Sacramento's Cal Expo racetrack, and cameras roll as midget cars approach the starting line. Engines roar as the race begins, and drivers jockey for position.
Here in Sacramento, it's the Miller.
Suddenly, one car swerves, it clips another, and goes airborne. Watch it again in slow motion, and you can count as the car does 14 complete end-over-end flips. Safety crews swarm onto the track to check the condition of driver Corey Kruzman. Corey's hurt, but he's alive, and that's a big relief to everyone on the track and in the stands. Paramedics bring out a stretcher and load Corey into an ambulance. He's got a concussion, and his arm is broken in 3 places.
Well, the first thing that you think when a car starts flipping like that is you kind of tuck your head down and tense up and, go to hang on. But I would say probably after 2 or 3 of them, I was knocked cuckoo there.
A home video camera catches the accident from another angle.
As I watch the videotape of that tumble, I still get chills watching it. But we have learned a lot on developing, the race cars to make them stronger, and hopefully it won't happen to anybody else, and they'll be able to escape it without serious injury like myself.
Corey says despite the danger and despite the injuries, you can expect to continue seeing him at racetracks around the country.
I always looked at racing just like people look at a skateboard. If you fall off it, you need to get back on it and get going again. And I'll tell you, racing all my life, I don't know what else to do with myself on weekends.
Well, he must love the sport. Corey still spends his weekends racing. So far, he's got 13 wins. Well, now for those wedding videos. Things happen at weddings that you could never think to write into a movie script. But these things really did. And fortunately for us, a video camera is always nearby.
It's your wedding, and you're all dressed up and ready to go. But there's one big problem.
Somebody open it. Excuse me, I need somebody to open it now because I locked the key.
Where?
In the car.
No one seems to be too handy with a coat hanger, and time is running out. So they have to resort to the hammer. It's a successful break-in, and after a quick cleanup, the bride and groom are on their way.
Well, a couple years from now, you'll laugh at all this stuff.
Yeah, we're ready up.
Peter Dunn thought he knew everything about his beautiful bride before he married her. But it wasn't until the bouquet toss did he realize what a great arm she's got. Good thing Janine Honey didn't have a bouquet toss at her wedding because she replaced her flowers with her cat. As she carries her favorite feline down the aisle, Janine enjoys a perfect wedding. In Wilmington, Delaware, Christopher Yanisek and Scarlett Rhodes decide to get married on the Reedy Point Bridge for a very good reason.
I'm afraid of heights and he's afraid of commitment, so we figured we'd knock 2 birds with 1 stone and do it up here.
It's like most weddings, but with a little more traffic than usual. And when it comes to this bouquet toss, luckily, no one tries to catch it.
Up next, cameras capture the rafters stuck in the deadly cross currents. And Lucy and Desi revealed the details of their honeymoon.
We had part of our honeymoon in New York at the Pierre. And we went to Palm Springs for 10 days.
Back in 2 minutes. Raw and unrehearsed. You're watching Real TV.
They do it for the thrill, or because they have something to prove. They're trying to triumph over an angry, churning river by shooting its rapids and coming out alive at the other end. And a video camera is there.
This is a river rafter's rite of passage. If you can make it through this, you can make it through just about anything. Hermit Rapids is a trough of water so turbulent, many rafters don't even try it. But for those who do, there are hundreds of tourists on shore to videotape their attempt. Surging currents carry two men helplessly into the path of rising whitewater. They are heading straight into a disaster, and there's no way out. Unable to make it over the wave, the raft is sucked back into a cauldron of cross currents, and the punishment is severe. Bumped, banged, and bruised, both men finally surface. Despite the danger of these rapids, rafters continue to take their chances.
Quite an adventure. Well, let's go to a time now when most people got their thrills and laughs by watching TV, not shooting the rapids. Back then, Lucy and Desi ruled the airwaves, and our hearts belonged to them. Well, today, thanks to newly discovered audio and video, we learn a lot more about Lucy and Desi. Our John Johnston has their private home movies and the real story behind their wedding.
These are rare home movies of Lucy and Desi's wedding. It's actually their second ceremony. They threw it for family and friends, but there was also a secret reason for the celebration: to break a curse so they could have a baby.
My parents were actually married to each other twice. The second time was in the Catholic Church, because they were trying to have children, and I think my father's mother convinced them that the reason they didn't was because they weren't married in the eyes of God.
Welcome. I'm Lucy Arnaz. What you're about to see is a family history.
Lucy Arnaz has put a CD-ROM together documenting the private lives of her very public parents.
This is in Chatsworth. And everybody said, you know, she's raised the chickens and the cows and all this and pigs so that they would have food, so they could, during the war, you know. Right. And my mother could never kill the chickens for food. She said all my chickens died of natural causes.
On it are pictures of the famous couple's first wedding. But even more intriguing are audio tapes of Desi and Lucy that have never been played publicly before anywhere else.
I'll marry you tomorrow. She said, why? I said, we're going to get married tomorrow. I said, I want kids. And she said, well, this. I said, look, you love me? She said, yes. I love you. She said, what else is there? So we got married the next day.
We were taking time out for a honeymoon then. So we had part of our honeymoon in New York at the Pier.
This is her voice from 1964, talking into those tapes, for the autobiography. And this is the first time I have heard them, when I found them and put them in here.
We went to Palm Springs for 10 days, and then I think we went to Florida.
See that smile come across your face when you hear your mom and dad's voice. It's got to be a great thing.
I think every kid who could tune back into their parents talking the way they really sounded after they're gone gets that same feeling.
You can also hear Lucy talk about her childhood and the early years she spent struggling to break into show business.
I wanted to be in vaudeville, which I've said 1,000 times, and I went to New York trying to get into vaudeville. Little did I know that it was dead and gone. There was no more vaudeville.
These tapes and home movies have helped Lucy learn a lot about her parents. But she says the biggest revelation is she now knows just how much they truly loved each other at one time.
I grew up as a child of divorce, and you can tend to think that your parents never loved one another, that, you know, you see them kissing on television. Why don't they do that at home? And then when I found these little traces of how passionate their lives had been at one time, that's the biggest revelation, that they actually had a fantastic marriage.
And these scenes from this CD-ROM remind us all of a magical moment in time, when a handsome Cuban fell for a beautiful redhead. And who could blame him? We all love Lucy.
Tomorrow on Realtv, more Hollywood home movies. See the footage of TV's Kojak when he still had hair on the next Realtv.
Well, we're not quite finished with Celebrity Realtv just yet. See if you can guess the answer to our Realtv quiz.
You're watching home video from a 1984 high school production of Anything Goes.
This teen leading lady now co-stars on a TV sitcom.
That the only way to pay this debt of honor Evelyn is to offer him me.
Do you know who she is? We'll be back with the answer in just a moment.
If you have Real TV, call us toll-free at 1-888-REAL-TV1 or on the web, reach us at realtv1.com.
Here's the answer to our Real TV quiz. Showing early signs of stardom, it's 18-year-old Jolie Fisher, 10 years before playing Paige Clark on the TV sitcom Ellen. Thanks for playing the Real TV quiz. Well, that's it for now. There's more Real TV next time.